Psst. Yeah, you. Come here. Look, everyone is talking about GameFi. Everyone is talking about RWAs. I got 3 high conviction narratives that I'm looking at for this bull run. Some of them have already made 10 to 100x. Yes, some of them have already done over 100x. I talked to you guys about them a couple of months ago on this channel. You can check out the previous videos and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. But if you missed wave 1, you don't want to miss wave 2. Not financial advice, of course. Anyways, guys, let's go and get into this. I'm going to cover over those 3 high conviction narratives that I'm looking at for this bull run. No, this is not all of the tokens. Yes, I am looking at others. If you guys are new to Drake on Digital, I talk all things crypto, DeFi, NFTs, you name it. So if that's your cup of tea, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's go and get into it. So the first high conviction narrative I want to get into has to do with BRC20s and Ordinals. If you don't know what BRC20s are, that's okay. A BRC20 is basically a ERC20 that is on Bitcoin. If you still don't know what ERC20s are, that's okay. Think of all the random tokens that are on Ethereum. Those are ERC20s. So I'll go ahead and give you guys an example of one. You guys probably know Chainlink. Chainlink is a ERC20 token. Its smart contract lives on Ethereum. Yes, it is multi-chain now, but it first originated on Ethereum. Most of you guys know USDT or USDC. These are some stable coins. These are ERC20 tokens. Yes, they are multi-chain, so now they are considered those other tokens as well. So let's take, for example, if they're on Solana, which it is, it's considered a SPL token. Those are the Solana tokens. So now that you know what a ERC20 is, a BRC20 is exactly what ERC20s are, but on Bitcoin. So instead of on Ethereum, they are on Bitcoin because Bitcoin is, well, it's on chain. And if you compare the 2 market caps of BRC20s versus ERC20s, you can see here that BRC20s are surpassed by ERC20s by a landslide. Currently, actually, the ERC20 market cap is like $200 billion now with this recent pump. The BRC20 market cap is a little over $2 billion. But hold up. Let's put this into perspective. What is the market cap of Bitcoin? Bitcoin's current market cap is $817 billion. Ethereum market cap? $268 billion. The Bitcoin market cap is 3x the size of Ethereum, but yet the BRC20 market cap is 1% of the ERC20 market cap. Hold up. So you're saying BRC20s are 100x smaller than ERC20s. Okay, so that's the very first thing. So this is why BRC20s and Ordinals is first on the list for the narratives that I'm looking at. Most people are not talking about this because they're looking at GameFi, they're looking at RWA, they're looking at all the shiny new buzzwords. And hey, that's okay. That's what they did last bull run. They ran last bull run. But the most gains aren't going to be made in the old tokens and the old narratives. Yes, there will be gains that will be made, but the newer, shinier objects are the ones that are going to do numbers. And currently, here's just a random list of some of the BRC20s. These are listed on CoinGecko. And yes, there are several others outside of these. The main ones I like, and no, these are not the only ones, are ordi, trac, sats, and as a degen play, rats. So I'll give you an elevator pitch on each of these. Ordi, the reason why I like ordi is because it's the very first BRC20. First is almost always king, just like Bitcoin is king. It's basically the first one that gained dominance, hence why ordi is at over $1 billion market cap. The elevator pitch on sats is it's basically going to be the infrastructure or the liquidity layer for all of these different BRC20 tokens. I don't have access to this, but this is the BRC20 swap on Unisat. Think of it like Uniswap, but for BRC20s. All of these different tokens have to be paired with sats. So if I list trac here, if I list pizza, if I list meme, if I list ordi, they're all paired against the sats token. What does this mean? Well, as the LP pool rises and the liquidity goes up, 50% of that is paired with sats. So with a capped supply and increasing demand, what does that mean for a token? It typically means number go up, and that's why you see Bitcoin, ETH, and whatever doing their thing. And sats also has the meme of one sat equaling one sat. Currently, one sat only equals 0.0005 sats. So it's got a little bit to go. I'm not saying it will get there, but of course it does have that classic meme, so hey, it's always fun. And then the other BRC20 token, rats. This is basically the Chinese community, and the Chinese, they're kind of nuts about BRC20s. So I do believe rats will have a bright future, and they do have a strong community around rats. But again, this is degen. It's kind of a meme. As always, time will tell. We'll see what will happen. And last but not least, one of my favorite of the BRC20s is trac. Now, trac, you can basically look at it like tying all these BRC20s and ordinals together into one little nice bow. So let me go ahead and show you what trac does. It basically is just like the graph. It indexes data. So if you think of like a library that has books laying all over the floor or whatever, enter trac, and then you have a organized library with all the books. That's the best way to look at it. But here's how you can envision trac. Let's go ahead and type in a random inscription number, because when you put a token on Bitcoin, it has its own inscription number, and it's a first come first served basis. So if 10 people inscribe and I'm the 11th person, my inscription number is going to be 11. And trac indexes this data. So let's take inscription number 33, for example. This is Trac Network's little demo so you guys can test it. But we're going to enter ordinal number 33. You can see here it's a smooth-haired Pepe. Well, let's go and go to ord.io and see what inscription 33 is all about. It's a smooth-haired Pepe. So how about we see what number 10,000 is? It's the number 69. So we're going to go to 10,000 and, well, it's the number 69. And if you take a look at the chart on some of these tokens, you're probably like, Drake, bro, this thing came from 38 cents. Actually, it came from 10 cents or 6 cents, actually. And you're talking about it when it's $5 after it made about 11,000% off its lows. Well, no, this isn't the first time I'm talking about it. If you go on my previous YouTube video, wow, nice shirt, dude. You can see here, this was a video I made 4 months ago. This was 4 altcoins I'm holding for the bull run. And sure enough, what was coin number 1? It was trac. And trac at the time was 39 cents. Now, yes, I did have a position before that. My dollar cost average position is like 15 cents on this one. I can't take any credit for any of these gains. I did talk about it on the channel, but seriously, everything comes from that dude above. And all I can do is thank him for tipping me off to it early, or at least putting the thought in my mind. In summary, think of trac tying all the BRC20s and ordinals together into a bow. And currently it is still only a $100 million market cap. Whereas ordi, which is literally a meme coin, but it is the first one. It's $1 billion market cap. And then you got a couple of other smaller ones that weren't first, but they did follow ordi. You had meme, which is the second one. I do actually like this one. This one has a pretty cool community. But again, this one is not first, and first is always first. Keep that in mind. And when you're looking at these, always keep in mind with the holders and the tokenomics on this. A lot of holders is usually a good thing. And if the holder base is decentralized, or like a larger amount of the tokens are distributed amongst a lot of different wallets, that is also a good thing. Like seeing a wallet have 6% of the supply is like, oh snap, what in the world? And yeah, hey, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, especially if the wallet is dead. And you can actually look in to see what these guys are doing. You can see here he's got 6,000 available, so at least they're not transferable. When they're transferable, that basically means, okay, this dude is ready to liquidate and sell. But that's for another video. But again, there are some other ones that I'm looking at, like meme. I do like meme. I also like ordi. I already mentioned that one. I like rats. I like sats. I do like mice. And of course, you got Pepe. Pepe is like the OG classic. I mean, this is the real Pepe, not the other Pepe. And yes, there are several other tokens that I do like as well. I mean, you stinking have pizza on Bitcoin. Like, come on, Bitcoin pizza. Now, of course, those are not the only ones. I do like some others as well. Some are more degen, some are less degen. But if you really want to have exposure to ordinals and you don't really want to get into the woods on it, ordi
and trac are basically going to be the ones that give you the most exposure on the BRC20 side and the ordinals. And if you are looking to get blue chip exposure to some of the ordinals, I think Bitcoin frogs, BTC machines, and bitmap, I think those are going to be some of the blue chip collections that stay strong in the bull market. Now, that's not saying those are going to make a million X gains, but at least I mean, they have a lower chance of rugging. But again, doesn't mean they're going to make like a million X gains or anything, but they have less volatility and a lower chance of going down as much. But this is crypto. This is degen, and literally could go to zero the next day. Now, I know you're saying, Drake. Hold up. What in the world, dude? Why are you telling me stuff at the top? Now, I didn't tell you stuff at the top. We've been talking about this. We've actually minted some bitmaps. But here are some tools you guys can use in order to get in early on this stuff. This is one of the many tools I use from my own Discord community, and this has to do with Genie data. This is just one of the features that they have. This has to do with the ordinal side. You can actually see what's going on Bitcoin at this current moment in time. Most people are messing around with tap. It's basically a meta protocol on Bitcoin. If that's going over your head, then you need to watch a bunch of other previous videos to get a better understanding of it. But basically you have BRC20s, you have tap, you have atomicals. These are all like different meta protocols on Bitcoin. They have their own set of quote unquote rules that determine the token and what makes a BRC20 a BRC20, or a ordinal, or a token a token. It has its own set of rules that people have to follow, which basically is like, okay, this makes it a tap token. And you can click and see what's being minted and see what the details are. So if we go on tap, you can simply see here a lot of people are transacting with Gib. This one is basically a DMT mint. So a bunch of people are minting different tokens on tap. That's just basically what I take from this. And if you want to go on to the BRC20s, which is a little more simple, people understand it because it's like the first mover advantage, you can see what the current BRC20 tokens are that are being minted. Like right now we have a token called Onio. I don't know what about this, but you can look and get some details on it. You can see here that it's fully minted out, so we missed the mint. Probably don't want to mess with it, or you can get it on the secondary. Sometimes it's actually cheaper to get in on the secondary with gas fees being nuts and ham like they are. Some things to look for. Take a look at the holder base, take a look at the deploy time, and take a look on Twitter to see how the community is. Quick vibe check is always looking at the holder base. The larger the holder base is usually going to favor being one of those collections that end up doing something because you have a large holder base, but it's not always the case. You can also get some price data and see what's going on with this. I don't want to give you guys information overload, so if you guys want to check out how to research BRC20s and look into these things, there's plenty of videos on YouTube. I've made some for my own channel. And if you guys simply want to see what I'm looking at the market, you can also join the Discord group. So that's enough of the BRC20 side. I want to cover a little bit into the ordinals. The ordinals, there are actually several different collections. I do like the BTC machines. Those guys are cool. And there's also a list of other ordinals that I do find and having prominence on Bitcoin. There are actually three different things you want to look for with these. One, how is the community? You want to look for a strong holder base, a strong community, and kind of like a cult-like community. Second, is it native to Bitcoin? Forget the punks. Like, punks are ETH. Like, sure, you'll have some punks on Bitcoin, but they aren't going to be something that is popular and make multiple gains like a Bitcoin frogs or a BTC machines. Look for something that originated on Bitcoin. And the third thing is, make sure you follow rule 1 and rule 2, which is look for a cult-like community. And the second is you want to make sure you find Bitcoin native collections. I like Bitcoin frogs. I like bitmaps. And you also got some other fun ones like Goosenals, Ordinal Maxi Biz. It's just one of those things you have to look for those strong communities as well as those original collections to Bitcoin. Now, there is one last thing I want to talk about Bitcoin. It has to do with its scalability. There are a couple of different dApps and a couple of different protocols focusing on this, and you can actually check one of the videos I made on YouTube. This was about 6 months ago. This was me and Az. We were talking about BTC DeFi and in particular stacks. There are a lot of different protocols that are looking to scale and help Bitcoin. I think Stacks is going to have its run, this bull run. As always, time will tell. But when you're seeing gas fees like this basically is demand for a layer 2. Everyone is wanting to mint. And currently at 186 sats per VByte on average, this is basically like a $40 gas fee just to buy something or swap into something. Simply just on Magic Eden. And if the transaction is really data intensive, it's going to cost you even more than that. And Stacks is actually looking to scale that, basically putting it on a layer 2. So if you want to learn more about Stacks, check out the video here.
And then you also got this little meme right here. BRC20s have some room to grow, but as always, time will tell. We'll see what happens. And yes, of course, I do consider Dogecoins and DRC20s as a strong narrative for next bull run or this upcoming bull run, whatever you want to call it. I love Dogecoins. They're fun, and the Dogecoin people, they're probably going to like it too. I like a lot of these coins, but in general, my favorite ones are Doge, Fitwib. Wow, Fitwib, pump, bro. What the snap? Okay, I'll have to check that later, but yeah, okay. And a couple of other ones. But anyways, don't sleep on Dogecoins. They're fun, they're cool, they're Dogecoins, guys. It allows you to do something with Doge. Like, whoa! Now, the second high conviction narrative I want to cover over has to do with cross-chain interoperability. Now, I know that's like a fancy buzzword, and people are like, why not GameFi and why not RWAs? I'm bullish on those narratives. I think they will do well. But here's the deal. Everybody is talking about them. So how about we talk about the shiny objects nobody is talking about? One of them on my list that I like under cross-chain interoperability is Thorchain. If you guys are new to the channel, well, disclosure, I'm a big Thorchain bull. I like Thorchain. I like what they're doing. And yes, I did talk about them at lower prices as well. It was the same video with the fancy shirt. We were talking about Thorchain at 97 cents. But all I can say is God was looking out. He was blessing. And I thank him again for another pick that he tipped off. The TLDR on Thorchain and what they do is they allow the native swap between Bitcoin, Litecoin, or any of these other native tokens in a decentralized manner. I'm going to show you guys this on the Thorchain or ThorSwap UI. I can literally swap some native Bitcoin for some native ETH. This is mind-blowing. I don't think people really appreciate the ability to swap native Bitcoin to native ETH in a decentralized manner. The only other way to get native Bitcoin is through an exchange. Now you're probably like, whoa, Drake. I was just on Uniswap the other day and I was like, bruh, I'm going to swap some ETH for some wrapped Bitcoin. And I'm going to stop you right there and be like, you know what that wrapped Bitcoin is? It's actually just wrapped trash. Wrapped trash that is issued by BitGo. If they get served with a letter or if they end up closing up shop, that wrapped Bitcoin you got is basically worth nothing. Like we saw with Sol BTC after Solana, FTX, and all that debacle. Sol BTC is supposed to be worth one Bitcoin, but now it's only worth like $500. So let's go ahead and show you guys wrapped Bitcoin. Awesome. You can swap one ETH for wrapped Bitcoin. Good for you, Johnny. It's wrapped trash. I'm telling you. Get the real stuff. It's so much better. The Thorchain is able to facilitate the native swap between native ETH and these native assets is because all of these different assets that are thrown into any of these liquidity pools, they are paired 50-50 with Rune. So if I wanted to add liquidity with Bitcoin and I say, hey, bro, I want to deposit $1,000 in Bitcoin in liquidity into this pool. Well, I can deposit straight Bitcoin. That's fine. But $500 of that is sold straight into Rune. So Rune is basically getting that price appreciation from that. I'm not getting it into the nitty gritty on the 3-to-1 multiplier on it. That's for another video. But it basically creates a omni pool to where Bitcoin, ETH, USDT, USDC, Thor, all these different tokens that are listed on here are paired with Rune. So the way to swap between Bitcoin and ETH, it's automatically going to route through Rune. So you can see here, one Bitcoin to one ETH. Let's go ahead and see the routes. You can see here that you have BTC to ETH, which is basically just going through Rune. So BTC, Rune to ETH. That's literally the cross-chain swap. And of course, there is a smaller one for the cross-chain swaps that is called Cacao or Maya. Think of Maya protocol as the one that's functioning for the long tail assets. And of course, you have Thorchain for the short tail. So here's a quick Google chart of long tail versus short tail. Actually, this is not really it. Oh, here we go. This is a great chart right here. So basically, you have consider this y-axis, the market cap. So the higher the market cap, the lower amount of tokens that are in that higher market cap. So you can think Bitcoin and ETH, those are just two tokens, and that's over $1 trillion in market cap. But if I combine Avalanche and Solana, those are like $40 billion because I'm combining the two market caps. So the long tail assets are going to be your small ones. So your ADA, your Link, your Kaspa, your Kuji, your Zephyr, all those little like small market cap, little long tail L1s. The short tail are the Bitcoin, the ETH, the large assets, the big clunky ones. Those are considered the short tail. So I show you this chart because Thorchain is aiming at the short tail assets, so your larger market caps. Whereas Maya protocol, Cacao, is aiming for the long tail assets. Now, going back to Maya protocol, I'm a bit biased. I like to use Eldorado. It's got the best UI and the cheapest fees, and I am an advisor over there, so I'm a bit biased. But on Eldorado, you can actually swap between these tokens, and you can actually add liquidity to these. And yes, they are airdropping some other coins. The previous video I talked about, if you guys LP'd in just amount or in the right amount of time, and you had the right amount of cacao, you actually got airdropped some MRC tokens. Now, wait, what are MRC tokens? Well, they're Maya protocol or the Maya chain tokens, MRC20. Anyways, those are the two cross-chain protocols that I'm focused on. In fact, those are the only ones that allow for native Bitcoin. Maya protocol as well as Thorchain. Thorchain for the short tail and Maya protocol, Cacao for the long tail. All the other protocols that say they can do cross-chain and they're doing all this stuff, look, all they do is they route through Thorchain or they have a centralized server that is going on these different exchanges and buying these different tokens. Thorchain and Maya protocol are the only ones that do this in a decentralized manner. Now, if you're looking for some smaller tokens, there is a token that has no liquidity right now. You can only get it OTC. It is called the Maya token, M-A-Y-A. It is basically a revenue share token. So all of the revenue that happens on Maya chain, it pays out cacao to all the people that are simply holding it. If you want to learn more about it, you guys can join the Maya protocol Discord to get some more details on it. If you guys are already in my Discord, I've shared plenty of details on it. You guys can check it out there. But that's for another video. The other microcap cross-chain token has to do with Thor and the Thor swap token. Thor swap basically gives you revenue share of all the swapping fees that happen on Thor swap. Now, Thorswap is just one of the interfaces on Thorchain. You also have Thor Dex. You also have DeFi Spot. There's a bunch of different UIs on top of Thorchain. But the reason why I like Thorswap the most is because of its streaming swaps technology. So let me show you a little bit about streaming swaps. You could see here if I wanted to swap 10,000 Bitcoin, which is $500 million. I guess I'm Michael Saylor. You can do a price optimized swap through Thorswap. So this is basically a time-based swap. So instead of just one transaction that says, whoop-ha, we're just going to swap it in 1 second or in one block, instead of eating all that impermanent loss, or not impermanent loss, in this case, slippage, you're basically going to do a time-based swap to allow the arbitrageurs to bring it back to peg. TLDR is the streaming swaps. They give you a better price because it splits your transactions into multiple ones. So you don't have as high of slippage. And that's really why I like Thorswap. So they're actually driving a lot of volume. And if you're staking the token, you actually earn some of the revenue share. And then the other microcap token has to do with Eldorado. They don't have their token yet, but it will be coming soon. Just stay tuned to this channel. I'll share details on it. If you guys are following me on Twitter, I'll share details there as well. I'm an advisor for them, so I will keep you guys up to date with it. Now, hold up. Come here. Let me tell you a secret. These are not the only ones. There actually is one other one coming up. It's called Black, like B-L-A-K. Don't tell anyone about this. Just keep it on the DL. But it's not out. It's like Thorchain, but it's focusing on privacy coins. Anyways, I didn't tell you nothing, so just keep that on the DL. And yeah, that's for another video. So when it comes out, I'll talk to you guys about it. And dude, don't hit me with that, bro, why didn't you talk about it earlier? If you're following me on Twitter or checking it on YouTube, I've been sharing these plays as I go. But it's okay. Lord willing, it keeps going up and has this second wave. But time will tell. We'll see what happens. Now let's go and get into the third narrative. That has to do with AI. Now, okay. A lot of people are kind of talking about AI already. But we were talking about it in a bear market as well. And maybe you guys were accumulating, maybe you guys weren't. The first one is Mosaic Finance. This is basically a bridge between DeFi and AI. And as a disclaimer, I am biased and I'm an advisor for them, but I only choose to advise protocols that I actually like. So Mosaic Finance, they're basically allowing you to do cross-chain DeFi strategies with AI. Like literally, it is cross-chain, so it's pretty sauce. They have these different vaults, so you guys can check them out and browse on the website and see what's up with it. But basically, you can deposit into these vaults, and they have these cross-chain strategies. So if you simply wanted to deposit some stable coins or some ETH, it'll basically allow you to have this cross-chain strategy. Right now, it's just a Hercules vault, and this is a multi-chain strategy with these stable coins on BSC, Polygon, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Phantom, Base, and Kava. It rotates between the different chains to offer the highest yields, and currently it's paying around, well, a little over 11%. It's not bad for a stablecoin if you ask me. And yes, they will have more vaults coming out. Now the next one is rndr. Rndr is nothing new. It's basically following the AI meta, the AI narrative. I'm not going to go into detail on this one, but basically it just allows rendering. That's all it is. So you see all these high quality photos. As we go into more high definition, as well as we hit into GameFi, the demand for graphics is going to increase. And no, I'm not reading this off of a screen. I'm literally just talking out my booty and just making like a bunch of buzzwords that sound fun. Basically, it allows you to render these different images that you see on the screen, like an igloo. These are pretty fancy images. I like them. But basically, it just allows for rendering these in a decentralized manner. And it takes a lot of cloud compute to do this, and renders the token that is basically facilitating that. Which leads me into the next one, which is Tau, tensor. Now, this thing has been flying. It is over $300. Nah, it's like $350. Best way to think of tensor or Tau is a decentralized AI supercomputer. Wow, those are some buzzwords. But you guys are probably, again, like, Drake, this thing is all-time highs. Why are you talking about it now? Actually, I did talk about it in a couple of other videos. I actually shared some of my Discord plays on Twitter. This was back on August 18th, but you can see here Tau was on the list, rndr, SNX, OP, gains. The time to accumulate these different altcoins is in a bear market when nobody is talking about them and when nobody likes them. But tensor is one of those on the list, and I remember the sketchiness of getting this. You basically just sent Bitcoin in, and they sent you Tau out. This was actually before Mexi and all these other exchanges, but yeah, it was super sus. So yeah, check out tensor. It'll take you for a winger. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about Akash. Akash is basically a decentralized cloud. And as we're getting further into cloud compute, this will be needed more and more. So you know how AWS basically owns the internet? Akash is kind of looking to disrupt that, and it actually is cheaper. So a lot of things are going to start to use Akash. Keep this one on your radar. I really like this one. And Akash is basically the central token for it. It is still a bit of a smaller market cap. It's only $394 million. So the target it's aiming for is cloud compute, and AWS holds a massive market share. So it's aiming for a very large target, which I could see it at least taking 1%, 2% of it. As always, time will tell. We'll see what happens. And Akash is the heart of that token. You can actually check out some of the threads I made on Twitter about this. But anyways, just search Twitter, search YouTube on my channel, and I've made plenty of videos to explain it. But the TLDR on this is it's a decentralized supercomputer using the Akash token as the main settlement layer. So it pays for people to do cloud compute services and whatnot. So as there's more demand for cloud compute on Akash, there's more demand for the Akash token, which this ties to AI because AI is very data intensive and it needs that processing power, and Akash is providing that processing power.
I also want to throw in a bonus narrative to you guys. This has to do with the modular blockchain. So currently, people can't really put a valuation on this because they don't really understand exactly what it does and what the potential is for a modular blockchain. So the main difference between a modular blockchain and a traditional one is that basically they order and publish transactions, but it's not executing them. So it's not as gas intensive. So this basically separates the consensus and application execution layers from each other. So basically this allows for further scalability because there is less congestion. So here are traditional monolithic architectures. You can see here you have the consensus and execution layer, and then you have all the smart contracts that are being built onto it. Whereas with Celestia, it's basically the consensus and data layer, and then you have your execution layers and your smart contracts all built upon each other. It's basically getting rid of the extra transactions by having these batched into kind of a group of transactions to be pushed onto the chain. And you can see here each application gets its own sovereign execution space while also still having the security of Celestia's consensus. So a quick TLDR is it allows for further scalability by removing the data load onto the chain by reducing the number of execution transactions that happen on chain. The reason why I want to talk about this one is because a lot of VCs and funds and investors are having trouble putting a valuation on this. When you have something that can't or isn't able to be properly valuated, sometimes prices tend to go nuts in hand. Hence why you see Celestia taking off from $2 to over, actually it almost went to $10 at one point. And mind you not, this was a free airdrop just for staking Cosmos.
And this video is getting kind of long, but we're going to go ahead and talk about the fourth narrative that has to do with meme coins. Now, retail is starting to enter into the crypto markets, and they're the type of people that are like, oh, funny dog pic. Let me buy a Dogecoin because it's a funny dog pic. Or Elon Musk, Doge, let me buy. There's going to be a wave of that. So Dogecoin is basically going to be your barometer for retail. The harder it pumps, the more retail is in. So this is just something to follow. And in my opinion, it'll trickle down into some of the other meme coins, which are going to be meme coins with cults. Like Zephyr, this is basically, it's not really a meme coin like you think, but I look at it like a privacy meme coin to where people are like, oh, wow, it's like Monero, but with a stable coin. Now, it is a legitimate protocol, but they have a really culty community. It's behind the lunatic crowd. If you guys don't know who the lunatics are, just look at the price chart of a Luna token. They're bag holders. It's good. I was one of them. So they're strong holders. Another one is SPX. Their whole meme is, well, they're going to be worth more than the S&P 500, which is multi-trillions. And the community is like a cult community. Then you got Bitcoin, ticker Bitcoin. This is a meme coin. They're basically saying, oh, yeah, we're a better Bitcoin. And they got a long ways to go. So that's their whole meme.
Oh, and of course, how could I forget some of my other favorite meme coins? Snek on Cardano. Of course, the meme of all memes, Cardano itself, and Bitcoins.
And of course, there's some other ones as well, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on meme coins. I already took up enough of your guys' time. Now I'm going to be straight up with you. A lot of these coins, they already sent. They pumped hard. They already made multiple X's. And don't tell me I wasn't talking about them earlier, because yes, I was talking about them on the channel. This is not my first time talking about them, but it's okay. A lot of the big YouTubers and people on Twitter and the big names out there, they are not talking about these tokens yet. And some of these tokens aren't listed on any major exchanges yet. When those do come, that is going to be the exit liquidity, not financial advice, of course. I do believe these tokens still have some gains to be had, but you may have missed out on the triple digit X's. Now, who am I to say, hey, look, let's cap it at this. Like, if the market wants to blow up and do what it does, great, awesome. But I'm just being real with you guys. This is why it always pays to stay active and engaged in a bear market. Get inside different Discord communities with project Discords as well as private Discords. I run my own. If you don't want to join mine, that's cool. Look for a private Discord with someone who is honest and genuine and not going to pump and dump on you. I'm already starting to see some random Telegram groups and Discord groups that are saying, yeah, look, join my group, pay half an ETH to get into here, one-time payment, and I'll basically share the tokens in my private group before I share them in the public group. Basically, they're just running a organized pump and dump. The public group has like, I don't know, 30, 40,000 different followers in it. And the little VIP group that they have has like 400 people. So all he does is he calls a token in there, and then he calls it in the public. The people in the public buy it. The guys in the private, they sell on them. Eventually, well, anyways, guys, just being straight up with you guys. Be careful with the grifters. Get into a good, honest group. There are plenty of them out there. Find some good and honest people that are on Twitter or in Discord and see what they are doing in the markets. Stay away from the retail stuff like Crypto Banter and BitBoy. They will shill and then dump on you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys did, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Tell me what you guys think of the video. And if you guys want to join the DigiSquad Discord, there's a link in the description below. I share calls and plays before I show them on YouTube, as well as some other tokens that I'm in that I don't even share on YouTube. Yes, some of them are degens, so be careful with them. And you can also chat with a bunch of other DeFi degens just like you. And some of you guys are asking about the discounts. This is the discount. I'm only leaving 5 more slots open at the current discounted rate, and it will be going up from here. The reason for that is to reward the early community members that were supporting the channel all throughout the bear, as well as keeping our community small so we can be tight and we don't have a bunch of clutter in the Discord. Let's hit you guys with a wisdom one-liner. Proverbs chapter 17 verses 2. A prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son, and will share their inheritance as one of the family. Be good, be righteous, be prudent. If you don't know what prudent means, basically means putting thought before you make a decision. Peace out, guys. Oh, bro, and I got to show you guys this. You guys probably saw this little panda at the bottom. This is my little Tamagotchi buddy. You can actually get one of these. It's an X-Pet. I'll leave a link in the description below if you guys want to check this out. And I'll put an invite code so you guys can join. But basically this thing, you like feed this thing and you can farm and you can earn these pet tokens. These pet tokens are worth like $40. You can dump these and sell them, do whatever you want. Or you can level up your panda. And that's what I plan on doing. But here's the deal. I'm trying to upgrade him and it just forever loads. I don't know. It's kind of cool.